is periodization an old and outdated concept, or is it the future of training? So let's start at the beginning with block periodization, which is the most known and most commonly used in strength and conditioning programs. The block periodization is the type of periodization where you structure your training cycles into mesocycles, which all focus on different physical qualities or motor capacities. First block, you often do hypertrophy or volume-based training. The next block you do strength. The third block you do power, and the fourth you do speed, and you peak after the speed cycle. So it's structured into those mesocycles, which are also called blocks, hence the block periodization name. And it is old. The concept is from the Soviet Union, and it's often called the Russian block periodization. It is still used, but is it the best? It's most popular, but everybody knows that most popular things aren't strictly best things. Periodization I would like to touch upon today is vertical periodization. The first person that introduced it was Charlie Francis. He was a track coach in the 80s and 90s, and he coached the infamous Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson was a Olympic champion. Later his gold medal got taken away because of a doping scandal, but still Charlie stands as one of the greatest and most revolutionary strength and conditioning and track coaches in strength and conditioning history. So let's talk about his periodization. This type of periodization and training system also focuses on certain qualities and capacities in each mesocycle, but the difference between block and vertical periodization is that in vertical periodization we also keep doing other qualities while working mostly on one quality. So to dumb it down a little bit, if you're focusing on hypertrophy this block, you also do strength and power and explosiveness, but hypertrophy still is the main focus. So you do maybe four sets of 8 of squats, but you also do overcoming isometrics that last 3 to 5 seconds for strength. Other days you do sprints, and you also maybe do super maximal eccentrics, because that is also a form of hypertrophy training that has higher forces than classic hypertrophy training. So in classic periodization models, you only do like 4 sets of 8, 4 sets of 8, 4 sets of 8, with a little bit of jumping and sprinting and specific activities, but you don't focus on everything. In vertical periodization, it's kind of like a wave. You have everything, but in different volumes and intensities. Intensity is still high, but volumes differ. So the problem with classical training models and training systems like block periodization is that you put your focus on only one quality, and you improve that while other qualities, their performances go down. So if you focus on hypertrophy, your strength will go down a little bit, but your speed will go down significantly. You're gonna notice it. If you focus too much on power, your hypertrophy and structural adaptations that you got during the first cycle are going to fall down, and you won't be as robust anymore, and your muscle mass will fall. So this is why Coach Charlie Francis introduced this in the first place, and this periodization model also increases the ability to do work, because you do more work in a week but do less work in one session than classic models, if it makes sense. Charlie structures his training plans and his cycles according to intensity. He has high and low days, and the intensity is measured by CNS fatigue. So how fatigued your central nervous system is. So if you're having a high day, it is really nervous system demanding, and you're essentially doing really heavy strength stuff and or sprints and power stuff. While on lower intensity days, you have maybe hypertrophy, core circuits, upper body circuits, and something that isn't so taxing on your CNS. So in my experience, I use high-low system and kind of like vertical periodization. I do a little bit of everything so I could maintain all of these qualities while becoming more explosive and jumping higher. I am training for dunking, so that is the most important training variable for me. So this training model really increased my ability to do work. When I used classical block periodization, I could only probably do 3 to 4 sessions a week, maybe 2 gym sessions. But if I did 2 gym sessions, I would have to do only 1 plyometric or jumping session a week. But with this style, I essentially do 5 to 6 sessions a week. I jump 2 to 3 times a week and also lift 2 to 3 times a week. Lower body. Upper body is 1 to 2 times a week. So my ability to work increased, and my outputs also increased during or at the end of certain cycles. So in the 4th week of this last cycle, I was jumping highest in the cycle while being the most fatigued. And this week on deload, I almost hit an ease bay, which is like 2 to 3 inches of increase in vertical in about a week. So by now you may be asking yourself, which model is the best for me? There isn't a right answer to that, because you have to use your critical thinking. You have to deduce which part of every model that you know is good for you and which is usable in your current situation, and you have to make your own training system and training model. So that's how I would like to conclude this video, is don't use systems, use critical thinking.